Well, hi, everybody. It's Mr. T. Obviously, I'm not here today, but I should be back tomorrow. I had to be out for an appointment for my wife. But today we're going to be starting into brand new content, and it's the unit called European Exploration and Colonization. And so today we're going to take a look at these European countries, England, France, and Spain, and what happens when they discover the New World. And so what does occur is these countries will come over to the New World and they will no longer just be exploring, they're going to be colonizing. And so when you colonize something, you're actually claiming land, you're creating settlements. So, for example, if you're France and you're creating colonies, you're creating little countries of France that belong to the mother country of France. Same thing with England. You have little small Englands in the other part of the world. So before we get started with the actual lesson today, there are a couple of things that should be in your interactive notebook. One of them is this vocabulary window pane on colonization. So that should be after the warm-up page we sent up yesterday. And also this warm-up that you completed today. And so today you looked at a photo and you were looking at the small details and you were considering how it connected to Texas history last year and how does it connect to the unit preview we completed last year. So it does have to do with exploration, primarily Spanish exploration, okay, because we see the flag here. And so these people coming into new territory in the New World, you see some natives in the background. And so the Spanish were here to primarily convert the natives to Christianity. So where are we right now in our unit? So we're just starting out. And so where does the United States get its start? And it's this unit called colonization. This is where England will set up colonies in what is now the United States. They will grow into 13 colonies. And those 13 colonies will eventually rebel from England and become the 13 United States. And so when we look at how the United States gets its start, it starts with European countries. So that's what we call the Old World. And we're primarily looking at England or Great Britain, United Kingdom. And what happened is those European countries go to the New World, which is mainly North America. And what occurs is that when England comes over to this part of the world, they are claiming it, right? And you see the little GIF there, but yeah, he's mine. So the land that they're claiming is now part of England. That's a colony. So the New World being discovered spurs this era of exploration. So from 1492 to 1626, you see European countries like France, England, Spain, and Portugal sailing all across the ocean, all across the world in search of new land. Now, we've talked about what some of the motivations were, and we'll look at them a little closely right now. So you have to keep in mind that more land equals more power. And so it's really important to remember that they're setting up settlements. England is setting up settlements in North America, and that land belongs to England. So let's take a look at North American colonization through the mid 1700s. So you can see this is the shape of the United States, but mid 1700s, there is no United States. And so you can see that the pink color represents the English colonies, that the blue represents French colonies, and in this orange area, which includes part of Texas, is French, and also Florida. That's why we pronounce it Florida. Now, language says a lot about who settled there first. So along the 13 colonies, English was the main language. Up here in what is now Canada, they speak French and English because England did claim some of the territory. And then down here in the Southwest, they speak Spanish. So if you think about the language that's primarily spoken in a place, it usually links back to who settled there first. And so when we think about European exploration. When they explored the New World, by the 15th century, Europeans were aware places as distant as Africa, India, and China. So they knew that they were there. However, they had no clue about the existence of the Americas. Yet by 1650, most of the Atlantic coastline of the Americas would be under the control of European power. So once they discover the New World, they are in a race to claim land. And so when we think about why that exploration happened during the 15th and 16th centuries, there's many reasons. Curiosity, wealth, fame, national pride, religion, the foreign goods that would be discovered, and honestly, faster and cheaper trade routes, trying to find quicker ways to Asia. Now, when we think about all those reasons, they come down to three motivations, and those are gold, glory, and God. Gold is the search for wealth, glory is the search for fame, God is the aim to convert the Indians, the Native Americans, to Catholic Christianity. So let's take a look at the gold aspect. Okay, these are economic reasons. And so Spain acquired a great deal of wealth and gold taken from the Americas, from the Aztecs and the Inca. People were seeing new wealth from investment and trade. And European countries hoped to increase their profits through exploration. So many countries were hoping to become rich and profit off of these new colonies and these new discoveries in the New World. When we look at the glory, right, we were talked about gold, and now we're going to talk about glory. It's political reasons. And so in the early 15th century, countries in Europe, Spain, France, Portugal, England, and the Netherlands hoped to extend their influence through exploration. And that's the big idea of land equals wealth equals power. And so for Spain, France, and England, they constantly fought wars to control most of the land. And then the last G is God. And so European missionaries, especially from Spain and Portugal, sought to spread the Christian religion. And that's why when we look at a place like San Antonio, there are so many Spanish missions here, right? Think about the remains of those missions, and what they were here for is to convert the natives to Christianity. So Christian missionaries believe they not only have a superior religion, but also a superior culture. And so now you're going to do a little bit of writing in your interactive notebook with the page that you glued down. It should have four squares on it, one of them saying general reasons, the other one saying England, France, and Spain. And we're looking at the reasons for European exploration and colonization of North America. So in the box, the top left box where it says general reasons, why did European countries colonize North America? Here are the general reasons. It's for glory, which is represented by the crown. It's for God, represented by the cross, and gold, represented by the dollar sign. Okay, please write those in the top left corner where it says general reasons. Now we want to add something next to those words because you won't see the three G's, those specific words, on STAR this year when you take it in May. You will see some more uh, mature words. So for glory, we talk about political, which means power. Okay, glory is about growing the power of your country. And think about in politics, it's all about who has power in our government. So glory equals political. For God, it's social, which is religious. So social, just like to socialize, means people. And so it was about something affecting society, and this was primarily religion. And then the last one is economic. Okay, gold is economic, which is for profit. Profit is what businesses try to make. And it's the same thing with these European countries that came to the New World. It's not beneficial if they can't make money off of the system. So this might be a good time for the teacher to pause the video to give you a chance to write. So this is still in the top left corner. It's glory, it's God, it's gold, political, social, economic. All right. So what I'd like you to do right now is to think about some synonyms for the three G's. Other words that could replace gold, could replace glory, and could replace God. So what you can do is you can flip back to your warm-up section of the interactive notebook and just make a simple chart like this, thinking about some words that you could see that could be used instead of gold as a reason for exploration, instead of glory, and instead of God. This might be a good time for the teacher to pause it and give you some opportunity to write down some of these answers. So taking a look in that top left corner again, we took the three G's out and we were calling the reasons for colonization in North America as political, as social, and as economic. So I'm going to have you add some information there to kind of expand upon what you have there. So when we say political, we mean to compete with other nations to expand the empire with new territory. So where I would probably focus in on writing is to say that political is about expanding your empire with new territory, right? Because political is power. Social is about spreading Christianity and escaping religious persecution, right? So the spreading Christianity makes sense. Think of social media, spreading ideas. But another reason is there were a lot of groups that are going to come to America to colonize, and their one reason is to escape religious persecution. And persecution is punishment. People being punished for the religion and how they worship. And then for economic, it's all about money. New trade routes to Asia, which is profitable, gold and other natural resources, and new opportunities. So you're still in the upper left-hand box. This might be a good opportunity for the teacher to pause this video to give you a chance to write these, but you're just looking at some examples of political, social, and economic reasons. Let me clear this out here. There we go. So once all the New World is discovered, Spain, France, and England were ready to claim land in the Americas, but for slightly different purposes. And so that's going to be an important part of what we talk about next. And so here's that exploration map just to show the frenzy that there was to get to the New World. All right, many countries thought they were trying to get to Asia, not realizing that North and South America were blocking. And so now we're going to take a look at the different sections of the graphic organizer. So we talked about the reasons for European colonization as gold, glory, God, and that still holds true. So I want you to now focus in on Spain. So find Spain in your graphic organizer. It's in the lower right-hand corner. And so if you look, Spain starts with the letter S, and there are little clues. Spain starts with the letter S, and their main reason, their purpose that you're going to write in the box for Spain is to spread religion, which was Christianity. That was their main part. And think about the Spanish missions. So add that into the Spain box. They were also there to expand their empire and gain wealth, but the main reason was to convert the natives to Christianity. Now, France came to the New World. France starts with the letter F. Let me change my color here. France starts with the letter F, and they were here and became profitable because of the fur trade. And they wanted to expand their territory. And you may be wondering, fur trade? Well, if you remember back to the unit preview, there was a picture of a beaver. that beaver is what became profitable for France because beaver fur is water repellent. And so they were able to make a lot of money and they tried to control the territory. So Spain, spread religion, both start with the letter S. France, fur trade, both start with the letter F. And then England came here mainly because, and I like to focus in on the letters to make it easy, with the letter E, economic opportunity. Okay, so you'll want to put in there religious freedom because there were groups that came for religious freedom. There were groups that came here to escape religious persecution. But primarily they were here for economic opportunity and profit. At least the first groups were. All right, this may be a good time for teacher to pause the video, that way to give you a chance. So in the France box, fill in fur trade and expansion. In the England box, enter in economic opportunity first, and then you can put religious freedom and religious persecution. All right, so 14, 15, and 1600s, European countries are coming to America. The Eastern Hemisphere is meeting the Western Hemisphere. And what could be the potential effects of Europeans settling in the New World? You probably have realized it. We probably understand it more than ever before. It's something that we call the Columbian Exchange. So when you have two cultures, two worlds colliding, literally, you have the exchange of plants, animals, diseases between Eastern and Western hemispheres that came after the era of Columbus. And so Europeans learned about new foods such as corn, tomatoes, potatoes, and chocolate from the Americas. And Europeans introduced the Americas to sugar, wheat, oranges, grapes, and oranges, and onions. So those two things kind of blended over. And so when we also think about it, there were new animals. The Europeans brought new animals that we had never seen in this part of the world, such as horses, sheep, goats, cows, cats, and rats. But with that, the Americas' exposure to the Europeans also brought disease like smallpox, typhus, cholera, and measles. And approximately 2 to 18 million Native Americans died from European diseases since they had no immunity. And we probably understand that more than ever because of what we've experienced with COVID and how quickly that spread when we don't have immunity. And so the same thing happened when Europeans exposed the natives to illnesses that they had never experienced before. And so this gives you an idea of what the Columbian Exchange was. Okay, it wasn't a trade that happened overnight, but slowly Europeans bring things to America that get introduced. Natives introduce things that eventually travel to the other side of the world. Some of these things being disease. And you see here what happens when those two worlds collide. And so now you're going to complete an exit ticket. So teacher is going to pass out a small piece of paper for you. And what I'd like you to do is to put your name on that small piece of paper. You will turn this in on the way out. It's also something that I'll look over when I return. And so today we talked about political, economic, and social reasons that European explorers came to the New World. Right? That was a long time ago. What I want you to think about is our modern world. Why do people come to America? Like in our world today, we have people coming to America for all sorts of reasons. And I want you to pick one: a political, which is a power issue, governmental issue; a social, which has to do with people, possibly rights; or an economic reason why people in today's world come to America. All right, you're going to finish that up. You will turn that in on your way out to the sub as you exit the room. I will see you tomorrow. Thank you for listening and have a great rest of your day.